Ladies, gentlemen, and monsters of all ages, welcome one and all to an absolute excitement extravaganza. Today, oh boy, today do I have something special for you. The Fatalis armor. It's super powerful, arguably even straight up broken. Not just the pure skills on the armor, but the set bonuses too. But just how broken are they really? I mean, as far as damage, there aren't too many things that the Fatalis 2 set really unlocks, right? Just some more agitator and then artillery for weapons that use that. But for the rest of us, it's mostly just a utility skill, unlocking massive divine protection and stuff like that, right? Well, what if I told you were a little bit wrong, and that a little help from a certain old build of mine might just be the secret to unlocking the true power of the armor most of us are going to be wearing for the rest of our time playing Iceborne anyways? What is that power, you ask? Well, the idea was originally born in a hunting horn build, way back in the Safi-Jiva ages, where I realized that there was a new layer to support only possible in Iceborne due to the Tigrex set bonus, Free Meal Secret. Free Meal Secret allows the skill to reach rank 3, at which you have a 75% chance when eating a consumable to not consume it. In other words, when you use an item that goes in your character's mouth, it only has a 25% chance of actually being used, making it so with average RNG, you can effectively have 4 times as many of each of those items in your inventory. But what kind of power does this unlock, you may ask? Potent power, at least according to the main item involved. In fact, the full description is that it temporarily endows you with the strength of a mighty god. Sounds good, right? Well, what if I told you that with this build, the strength is not just temporary? Welcome to a build that I like to call the Mighty God Axe, where you can have might pills active for 100% of the hunt. Now, a might pill lasts for 20 seconds, but in this build, each of your might pills is as good as 4 might pills as far as consumption goes, meaning that you are essentially carrying 20 of them in your pouch instead of 5. If you then also carry the materials to craft them so you can make 10 more, it's just as good as having the equivalent of 60 might pills in your pouch without having to restock. And because the math works out so cleanly, it's quite obvious how long it lasts. If 1 might pill lasts 20 seconds and you are carrying 60 might pills, then what you are carrying will on average last for 20 minutes.
Wait, can you repeat that?
20 minutes of might pill. If you stick wide range on top of that, you are suddenly providing 25 raw attack to every single one of your teammates for that entire time, which is an absolutely tasty amount. Like, it is seriously noticeable for every hunter in your party, and it cannot be understated how valuable this is. But that's what the old build did. The hunting horn build was a mess of spinning plates to support your teammates. This version is almost purely offensive, especially because it is so strong that it is even worth using in solo hunts without wide range, given that it only requires 3 one-slot skills to even function properly. So realistically, you can do this with any given Fatalis armor build in the game for a slight boost for a bit of extra micromanagement. But there are some weapons and some methods of using these weapons which particularly benefit from it. Things like, for example, Switch Axe. Now, Switch Axe is one of those middle weapons where Frostcraft doesn't affect their strongest move quite enough to be straight up better than a Fatalis build, but their strongest move is pretty sheath-centric, given that clutch clawing into zero-sum discharge is ideal, and it is easy to clutch claw while sheathed. And given that I am trying to maximize offensive gain from Fatalis 2 set, we also combine this with zero-sum discharge while also using full ranks of Tool Specialist, just one more secret bonus that will effectively affect our ability to deal full damage. This version of the build on this weapon I feel is the strongest. It just lines up well with the Switch Axe timings to pop a might pill for your party every couple of discharges, and it lets you enjoy a particularly explosive gameplay style too. Onto the build itself then, the weapon is of course the Fatalis Switch Axe, which is pretty much the only thing that you'll see people using if they aren't trying to do something funky with Safi weapons granting extra set bonuses. It is just super strong in every way imaginable. On this, we have 1 health regen augment and 1 attack augment. Moving on to the equipment itself, you'll notice that we have 4 pieces of Fatalis armor, as is the standard, as well as 1 piece Velcana, just because those boots have some very juicy statistics on them. Filling in the decorations then, it will start to take shape here. I'm showing you the solo one first so you can see just how little it actually takes away from the standard build's damage, and I'll show you the multi multiplayer one after. As a whole, the build has 7 attack boost for a massive chunk of raw attack up, 7 critical eye for 40% affinity, 7 agitator for a ton of attack as well as 20% affinity when the monster is enraged, 5 tool specialist for 50% faster mantle regeneration time, allowing us to almost have permanent mantle uptime, 3 stun resistance as a very welcome byproduct of the build, 3 critical boost for extra damage on our critical hits, 3 weakness exploit for 50% affinity against a tenderized part, 3 power prolonger to boost the length of time that our sword mode stays powered up, 3 peak performance for a massive chunk of raw attack when you are at full health, 3 free meal to unlock the true power of this build, 2 quick sheath as a convenient bonus, 1 earplugs as that makes you immune to roars when using zero-sum discharge, 1 handicraft for just a bit more sharpness, 1 evade window as a welcome byproduct of the build, and of course the Fatalis 2 and 4 sets. As well, I would highly recommend Temporal and Rocksteady Mantle as the build involves a hell of a lot of attaching to monsters. Do you see what I'm saying now? This build has nearly everything that most standard Fatalis builds wind up with, basically trading some utility for a clear route to consistent extra damage. And in multiplayer, all you have to do is trade off 4 attack and 1 power prolonger to give the same effect to your entire team, basically giving away 12 raw attack personally to give a consistent 25 raw attack to the 3 other people that you hunt with on a relatively consistent basis. How cool is that? And as I said earlier, if you are hunting with 3 partners who are using raw weapon builds, this bonus is insane. Everything in Monster Hunter sort of multiplies off of itself, so adding that much to 3 people is literally quest-alteringly, quest-changingly good. As for the actual playstyle, that's where this gets a little bit funky. I'll be the first to admit I haven't played enough Switch Axe in Iceborne, so I'm not exactly great at it, and that's honestly the main reason that I wanted to find a way to make a cool and interesting, slightly off-meta Switch Axe build. And that's what this build does, is create a super interesting and powerful gameplay loop if you enjoy explosions.
I do like that.
At the start of the quest, you pop Mega Demon Drugs and Demon Powder, try to remember to refresh the powder every 3 minutes, and then when you engage the monster, your only goal, and I mean your only goal at first, is to power up your sword mode. Then sheath, pop a might pill, clutch claw to a monster's weak part, zero-sum discharge. Clutch Claw again, zero-sum discharge. Then pop another might pill. Clutch Claw, zero-sum discharge. You get the idea. You can get more than 1 zero-sum discharge off within 1 might pill's time, so you don't quite have to spam it every combo. Just try to get a feel for how long 20 seconds is of doing this, and you'll get pretty comfortable with it. And you'll notice that the damage gain when the might pill is active is a lot. Now, without a doubt, this is tricky against some harder monsters, as clutch clawing is always a dangerous plan, but our massive uptime on both Rocksteady and Temporal, along with the crazy healing you get from health regen augment during zero-sum discharge, go a long way to combat this issue, especially if you can find the ideal spot on the monster to use this attack for the duration of a hunt. So essentially, we nearly completely forego the axe mode unless you completely empty your sword file out, can't do anything else, and focus almost entirely upon zero-sum discharge to put you in a position to might pill in between them fairly comfortably. And you're seeing the results yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. This build does work. Alright everyone, I've been God Dinosaur, and this has been the Mighty God Axe build in its multiplayer wide range granting equivalent. Do you like this funky build? What other odd and unusual builds would you like to see me take a stab at in the future? Like if you like the video, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet. This is the brand new outro to tell you all the things that you do that we love, so let's start with something simple and say, oh, we love your eyes when they're watching us play video games, when we make a bunch of jokes that are kinda lame, or when they gaze upon our failures as we try to kill the monsters or report important news about the kingdom Animalia. Rage, Continent, Hollow, we're all here talking about the things you want to hear, so if you want to be the first to hear, like and subscribe and the bell and we'll cheer. Some of you are patrons even though we are all the noobs and you're the pros. There's nothing we can do to thank you. No, really, there's nothing we could possibly do. Goodbye.